All right, welcome back. We're looking at factors that will shape Nigeria in 2019. Earlier, we talked the economy. Right now, we're going to be focusing on the general elections coming up on the 16th of February, and of course, in March, with regards to state elections. I have you with me, Wofai Robert. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Elections are here, finally. I mean, 2019 seems so far away.
Indeed.
But also, interestingly, I think as soon as the 2015 elections held, we started talking about 2019 immediately after that.
Very true.
A lot of people got already into the political mix, especially because of how dramatic the last elections were. First of all, let's look at the presidential elections. I know there's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
A lot of people are saying that the election season has been a little pretty mild. There's not a lot of politicking happening. There's a lot happening on the pages of newspapers, but we're not seeing campaigning enough. Do you agree? Do you think there's enough politicking in the air?
I think there's been a lot of politicking in the air. I think there's a lot of campaigns going on. As you had rightly said, soon after the 2015 elections concluded, we started talking about the 2019 election. Long before the election, the campaign season was declared open, we had seen a lot of campaigns.
So we're already saturated with
Oh, yes. So we've had so much. We were already used to the campaigning such that even though it may seem that officially campaigns have been declared open, people already think that the campaigns have been running on long before it was actually declared open. Yeah. So I think there's been a lot of campaigning. There's been a lot of back and forth. Dirt's been thrown everywhere. Yeah. So what's a better definition of a campaign than to have what's happening?
2018 sort of ended on a very interesting note with regards to the elections, talking about the vice presidential debate. I think that's the first time in a while that we had the major candidates, the major running mates from parties debate. And we're supposed to be having a presidential debate for, I think, 5 major candidates on the 19th of January. Yes. I asked this last week as well. I'd like to also get your thoughts on it. How important are these debates? Do you think they're going to change mindsets for some people? Do you think there are people who are undecided now who are looking forward to things like that to decide who they will be voting for?
Unfortunately, in this part of the world, or should I rather say here in Nigeria, our politics is not determined by our rhetorics. So that people are not swayed by the beauty of the words that they hear. People are rather swayed by whom they have chosen. There are a number of other factors that determine victory or otherwise in elections than the debates. So for me, I would feel that a large section of the Nigerian electorate who actually vote at elections don't actually have the means of participating or viewing these debates. So you have a large section of most of the people who would follow these debates, being those who may not even vote at the elections. We have a large number of people in diaspora who would follow, and a large number of us who are in the urban area. But the greater section of the electorates are those who are dispersed or distributed in several geographical locations who may not follow these debates. So the debates in themselves are not largely determining factor over who wins the election. So for me, well, we want the debates, yes, but the debates do not actually determine who wins the elections.
And the people who have said that what will determine the elections is vote buying.
Very true.
We saw at least allegations fly around with the last couple of state governorship elections that we had in Osun, in Ekiti. The PDP accused the APC accused the PDP equally, saying everybody's involved in this. But what is definitely sort of agreed upon is that it is a thing going on.
It is.
And
it has always been a thing.
How big, and it has always been a thing. Yeah. But I mean, see that these days, violence is not that much of a thing. People don't snatch ballot boxes anymore. So that is now the one way a lot of the political parties seem to go. How worried should we be?
We should be very worried. We had been very worried. We should continue to be very worried. My take is that vote buying has always been a thing with us and will continue to be. As long as we continue to give priority to the results of elections rather than the process of those elections. It was a former Prime Minister of Albania, I think Mr. Feto, who once said that one of the most important aspects of the democratic process is free and fair election. That the most important aspect of the electoral system is the process of the election and not the results. So to the extent that we continue to give so much priority to the results of election, people are more concerned with the outcome of the election. People are looking at the end. So for them, where people look at the end of the election or the result of the election, vote buying becomes a tool, a means to an end. What is that end? The result of that election. But if we look at the process of election generally, elections are but an aspect of the entire democratic process. So that when people consider that beyond voting people into office, that's just the starting point. There is a process of ensuring that those people that we have elected or appointed to be our stewards politically are accountable to the people. We would understand that the process goes that way. So we have a very, very difficult problem on our hands because there are quite a number of factors which give rise to vote buying. Poverty. It was one of the former Russian leaders who utilized the tool of poverty as impoverishment, so to speak, as a subjecting element in his administrative system. He kept saying that if you deprive the people of a lot of things, every time you give them a little, you become a god to them. And so that's what plays out here. Our people are impoverished. People are out of jobs. Salaries are not properly paid. We are one of the least paid workers in the world. I know this because I'm a labor lawyer. But then a man who doesn't have the means to feed himself and his family is going to look to an easier means to make money. And that's where for them, anything which would help them to sort of alienate that suffering a bit would be welcome. And this is the reason why vote buying becomes so very, very well practiced.